Hello again, welcome to the Biohacker Summit live show. I'm Valerie and I have here an amazing lady, Emilia Vuorisalmi, who is also an author of a book called High on Love. And in this talk we are going to explore a bit more the topic of hormones and how they impact our relationships. Hi Emilia. I know that the book is only available in Finnish right now, but there are some plans to publish it for our international audience.
Yeah, it should be. It's actually ready. It's translated and kind of ready to go, but we're just waiting for the right moment.
Right. So I know the book has been a success here in Finland. So could you tell our international audience that doesn't speak Finnish necessarily, what are the main points of the book? What are you focusing on there?
Yeah. So the book, everything started from my own heartbreak. Let's say about 8 years ago, I was doing miserable. I had, I call it emotional burnout. And the thing was that I was examined a lot. So I was, the doctors did all lab tests, MRI, everything, and they couldn't find anything. And at that time, as a physician, I started to think that the only thing that has changed in my life was love. I had lost love for the first time in my life, and that's how I wanted to start to study what love does to our brain. Kind of, who do we fall in love? Why do we have those crazy feelings? What happens in our brain in the different phases of love? And why is losing love so hard for our body and mind?
Yeah, I think the problem is super real and everybody here can relate in one way or another because indeed it's an absolutely different state when you fall in love, and then there are certain cycles in the relationships that, make you feel different stages. So the point is that everything is chemistry, right? That it's all about the hormones. So
yeah, I think hormones are a great language. I mean, of course, we can go dig deeper on what our hormones made of, but hormones, it's been a very useful language to explain this to people. And yeah, you're right. So everything starts by noticing somebody, and I think there's actually these little things called pheromones that are changing information who will be the perfect match for, to kind of make the perfect baby.
Exactly.
And that phase is driven by estrogen and testosterone. And the purpose of that phase is just to kind of get to know this other people a little better. Maybe kiss, change some more information. If it's a good match, we will have this testosterone kind of peak that will actually make us want to have sex and then get to know a little better. If the match is really good, we might very fast move to the second phase, which is kind of the high phase of love. We've all been there, very intense, kind of consuming, because our cortisol levels are actually pretty high at that first, crazy love phase. Our dopamine levels are like just like out of hands.
Everything is just having a blast in the body.
And the purpose of this phase is to focus all our energy to win the love.
Right. Okay.
Noradrenaline, PEA, these are all hormones that are kind of very crucial in this phase of crazy love.
And I don't think this is the kind of phase you sort of want to balance. You want to experience it to the fullest, but indeed, when this phase kind of passes and we are moving to the next one, that is where it's super important to start really kind of adjusting yourself to another person. So what do we do? How do we manage that?
Well, I still go to the first phase, because the point is that nature is kind of always very smart. So it usually lasts like a year and a half. And what nature does is also it masks our prefrontal cortex during that phase. So we don't really see the problems with that other person.
Very common thing.
A very common thing. And then let's say after a year or two, one day we wake up and we are like, you have changed. and you're not the person I fell in love with. But actually, our own brain has changed, and the chemistry is now kind of back to normal, and we see the mistakes, the flaws, everything. And if it's still a good match, and we still kind of feel that our values are aligned, and you know there are enough good things, we move to the next phase of love, which is a nice, smooth content phase where the dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin are all kind of flowing in a balanced, nice state. And this is the phase which basically gives us a solid ground to build anything. It's kind of, I would say this is the phase which makes us healthy, and it increases our longevity. So basically my next book will be pretty much concentrating on this and I have created this sustainable love system, which kind of advises us how to get the health benefits of this phase without a relationship necessarily.
Could you share some of them here today?
Well, it's a long discussion, but
of course.
But it's from my website. Actually, it's all now owned in Finnish, but there's a test where we can learn about the individuality, which is like how dopamine high or serotonin high you are as a person, which of course tells what your individual needs are more likely to be.
Yeah.
But let's say when it goes to dopamine, it's a lot of finding what is really meaningful for you, like taking away these layers that this world has kind of put on top of us.
All
and
the social conditioning. Yeah.
And kind of finding the true self and what really for me is meaningful and what I'm doing right now every day to accomplish that.
I like that. We are not really talking about supplementing or finding some perfect routine, but really kind of going inside and observing and then kind of building our relationships based on that.
And it's the same as we think, okay, there are different questions, but we only have limited time. So when it comes to serotonin, it's also, let's say, the feeling of safety.
Yeah.
It's really
very
individual.
important for women.
So what makes you feel safe? For me, it might be something very different. Like I'm a very
Exactly.
dopamine high person. So for me, I actually feel safe when I can be creative and when I can like kind of live somewhere in the fullest. Family, of course, gives me safety. But some other, for a different kind of neural balance, it might be that you really have to have a financial safety, and we have to respect that our own individual needs. And when it comes to oxytocin, it's all about kind of being able to be present, thankful, and all this around that theme that we are losing in this high tempo digital world.
Absolutely, and nowadays our lifestyle, I think, is so filled with this dopamine spikes and rewards, and we're getting it from everywhere. And
I'm calling it as empty calories. So basically when we're, spending time Instagram, so it's like every time I post something there, my brain will start releasing dopamine and waiting how many likes, what are people commenting. And then when I see the comments, it's a nice serotonin spike, oh, you're great, I love what you're saying. And it gives this illusion of, being part of the tribe and accepted, but we're losing oxytocin. So actually, after a very short period of time, we are hungry again and we feel like I need to post something again. And it's addictive.
Is it the same?
There's a few things that are actually pretty universal. I mean, love, and even in the brain scans, it looks the same, which is very interesting. But of course, then again, there are some scientific studies that, for example, men actually fell in love faster.
Right.
And so it's maybe they don't show it, but when they really fall in love.
But the reality is.
And for example, testosterone actually protects male from easily then again falling in love. So that's why probably like George Clooney married when he was 50. So his high testosterone levels kept him, wanting to spread his semen. Can you say that? But anyway, it's lots of times we just have to go a little back in our history and look why we were made to behave like we do.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think our time is up, but we are really excited about the next book that is coming soon.
Yeah, it should be out next. I can't really talk about it yet.
Yep.
But it should be, if everything goes right, it should be at the end of the next year.
Yep. And so for everybody who wants to learn more about your work, where can they find you?
Docemilia.com. So DOCEMILI.com.
Thank you very much, Emilia.
And same Instagram.
Thank you.